We'll start off with the qualitative research question. We'll move on to the foundation of international psychology, then to the international psychology and qualitative research and how they connect, how we can form hypotheses within qualitative research, data collection and analysis, a real-world IP application using grounded theory, and implications for future research. The qualitative research question: what components of qualitative research best align with the broader field of international psychology and why?
The field of international psychology requires researchers to have a lens that incorporates behavior and culture that is influenced by various entities. This lens requires openness, flexibility, respect, and an unpresuming manner. The merging of cultures and the importance of realizing that every culture in the world is in fact indigenous. There must be a sense of ethical consideration in examining the different components that connect international psychology to the field of psychology. This may be accomplished through qualitative research methods. The different approaches connect international psychology to the overall field by offering a holistic platform rooted in culture, environment, government, and collective behavior. Research is a mechanism that investigates the process of how all these factors come together to contribute to the knowledge base of the realm of psychology. This is accomplished by offering an international perspective to complement what has already been established in the field. Next slide, please. Qualitative methods seek to understand the meaning and processes of human behavior. These methods and approaches allow the researcher to examine behavior based on the context and culture. The blended concept of international psychology connects to qualitative research in the process of designing a research study. The researcher plays a key role to expand and contribute. The researcher is a key factor acting as an instrument for discovering the connectedness to these components. The IP lens is holistic, meaning that the researcher sees an individual through the environment, relationship, and customs. Researchers are interested in events that happen over time. They use their beliefs and values to guide their work. Their training as a foundation and will allow for that to guide them in the selection process of an approach to a study of their choosing. Researchers utilize the collection, analysis, and interpretation process to add to the literature, and they are expected to bring their own perspective when approaching a research problem.
International psychology and qualitative research. International psychology can incorporate indigenous psychologies, ethnic studies, and cross-cultural psychology. Qualitative research involves researcher interpretation. One of the major goals is to study concepts and human processes and to find in-depth answers through observation and interviews. One concrete example of this is the International Journal of Qualitative Methods. This journal was established in 2002 and is based out of the University of Alberta in Canada. The IJQM is an open access, peer-reviewed scholarly journal that focuses on methodology, qualitative and mixed method studies, and promoting human dignity, rights, and just policy across Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, and Australia. Next slide, please. Research question and hypothesis formation. In qualitative research, the research question is formed through the exploration of complex phenomena in a natural setting. The research question can change and is flexible and adaptable since the researcher is studying human behavior, lived experience, stories, and larger meaning. In an international setting, a level of flexibility can be helpful as the researcher conducts a study with many moving parts and changing factors and variables. As researchers engage in international research and work, there should be a level of cultural awareness and the researcher should be knowledgeable of local laws, customs, social and cultural norms. This applies to qualitative research process. The research approach and methodology can vary with different levels of observation, interviewing, and the analysis and collection of data. Cultural factors, the location of the study, sample participants, and the study design are all factors to consider when conducting a qualitative study in an international setting. Next slide. Data collection and analysis. International psychology can emphasize the societal, political, and historical importance of culture, and the context matters when research data is collected and analyzed. Qualitative data is expressed in words and themes, patterns, and seeks to answer how and why questions. Once data is analyzed and interpreted, it is categorized and summarized. It is important that when the researcher uses and creates a qualitative measure or instrument, the appropriate modifications are made. The data could be impacted or altered when the environment, people, history, and cultural context are not considered.
A real-world example of qualitative research from a grounded theory study of protective care personnel working with Nicaraguan female survivors of violence. As stated by Oliver Burgess, qualitative methodology with a grounded theory design was utilized. The research site was located in Managua, Nicaragua. There was one cultural cohort of 12 protective care personnel. The central research question was divided into two components. The first focused on the residential period in protective care, and the second focused on the transitional period post-residence. The ecological framework was used to build a better understanding of the interventions and services that have been identified at the individual, relationship, community, and social levels, society levels, to contribute towards the young women's transition from protective care. Also, as stated by Olivia Burgess, the exploratory research study has significant implications and contributions to the field of international psychology on gaining a better understanding of the critical services that are needed to support vulnerable populations of girls and young women during a time of crisis and instability.
So what does this mean for future research? Qualitative research requires collecting extensive data and embracing new procedures that reflect diverse perspectives and consistent ethical accountability. The researcher must ask pertinent questions that explore the discipline of psychology as a whole. The researcher must also have a holistic approach to the entire process when doing international psychology as well as qualitative research. Societal problems need society-focused solutions. That should always be the goal in both disciplines. Thank you for your time.